right. I've hijacked the podcast here.
Hey everybody, Mulligans and Hackers season number 3, guest episode number 2. We're here with Braxton from the Baseball Golfer.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, pal?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Alvin.
Excited to be here. Really appreciate you being here. I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
So, buddy, seen you around the socials a little bit.
Yeah.
So give everybody a little explanation on probably how the Baseball Golfer started. We'll get into your other activities after.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Where'd it come from?
So a couple years ago, it's kind of a funny story. It was middle of winter. I'm in Utah, so I get cold winters just like you do. Early January 2022. Yeah, early January of 2022. I was just missing golf a lot and thinking, what can I do to kind of pick up a hobby with golf in my free time besides just playing? And I noticed I was trying to go through like my camera roll on my iPhone, trying to find all the videos that I had taken over the last few years playing golf. And it was a nightmare trying to just find them. I didn't have them in a special folder or anything. And so I thought, what if I just create an Instagram account for my golf and I'll make it private and it'll just be me that has, I won't really tell anyone about it. And I'll just put my videos there. And so I started with that. And when it came time to create my little handle on Instagram, I was like, what do I call this thing? And I'm a huge baseball fan. I grew up playing tons of baseball. I love baseball. I was a catcher growing up and thought that I wanted to try to play college ball and see how that could go and all that fun stuff. Baseball was my life as a kid. I played, as long as there wasn't snow on the ground, we were playing baseball. And even when there was snow on the ground, we were working out in gyms and taking ground balls and throwing bullpens and all that stuff. So I love baseball and thought, well, what if I call it the Baseball Golfer? That's the sophistication or lack thereof behind the name. And it's, I kind of thought that because a lot of people, when they play golf with me, like, oh, you must've played baseball. You see my swing. And I kind of have this unorthodox, kind of a hacker baseball swing. And then, they'd play with me and like, oh, wow, for a baseball player, you can score pretty well. I'm like, yeah. So I kind of was already deemed like a baseball golfer. I just kind of rolled with it. And, I thought it'd be kind of fun if I could kind of document all my stuff in an Instagram, maybe do a TikTok if that sounded fun down the road. I didn't really understand that. But if I could just get to a point where I was documenting my progress, right? I think at the time I started it, I was probably like a 7 handicap or something. I had really kind of gotten into golf in a serious way when I returned home from my LDS mission. So when I was 20, kind of started wanting to play golf. At that point, it was clear I wasn't going to play college baseball, but I needed something to just relieve my mind of the stress of being a 20-something-year-old kid in college, So I just jumped into it and fell in love with it. And then when I got married, it kind of slowed down for a bit. And then COVID hit. And I had nothing else to do. So it was like I worked and I played golf and we didn't have kids yet or anything. And so I just dove in. I think at the beginning of COVID, I was probably like a 14 or a 15 handicap and just started kind of chipping away. And in 2020, I think I got down to about a 7 or an 8. And then 2022, I didn't make much progress, or 2021, I should say, didn't make much progress. And then by the time 2022 came around, I was down to a 7. So I started this page thinking I want to get from 7 to scratch. That's what this page is going to be. And I'm going to highlight how a baseball golfer can fix his swing and get to scratch. And so over the course of the next 3 to 4 months, weather started to warm up, started to be able to go play a little bit. I started filming more. And as I was posting, I noticed people besides my immediate family were requesting to follow me on this page. And I had it at just private still. So I had 50, 60 followers of close family and friends. And then I thought, well, if people are requesting to follow me, maybe I'll take it off of private and see what happens. And it's just been not a huge growth, but just a slow and steady growth. And people have related to some of the content that I've put out there, and it's been just a lot of fun. I didn't expect to grow, but I also didn't expect to love the social aspect of it as much as I have. So it's just been a blast. It's been fun.
Yeah, man. Same thing. We're a COVID organization, started up during, again, same thing, depression, right?
Yep.
And again, we're new to golf. So we're only like 3 years into this, like
That's
full-time,
awesome.
we'll say full-time hobby golf. And just, again, interacting on social media. This is kind of outside my realm, doing these type of things.
Yeah.
Any of my family and friends would tell you, Alvin, this is just so not you. But this is fun.
That is fun.
So we chat with a lot of people, and the people we engage with regularly, this is what we want to do. Just have a casual chat like this, right? Like, what better way to get content and to introduce ourselves to each other, right?
Absolutely.
This type of medium, it's fantastic. And again, for us, it's been a slow growth too. But you know, the fact that we're close to 1,500 downloads on Spotify just kind of blows my mind, because I guess for me, that's more than family and friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I hear you.
So it's like,
Huge.
okay, cool. Not quite sure how to take it, but I mean, that part of it, that aspect of it will do what it does. But this here, like the chats we have and some of the friendships we've made over the years, just doing this is a lot of fun, man. And again, the other side of our golf too, which, is part of it, playing golf in the summer and doing our Mulligans and Hackers Cup and those type of things. I'd love to be able to post more in the summer, but when we go golfing, and who's handling the camera? Well, nobody's handling the camera, because we want to golf, right? We're not single digit handicap yet. Chris got pretty close. I'm still around the 14, 15 type thing. But what a game.
Yeah.
And for where I am in my life, my kids are gone.
Yeah.
So what do you do now? So you go in that 20-year fog of raising a family, right? And it's hockey arenas and dance recitals, and I went through it all for the 20-year period. So now that we're done, what do? You come out, you shake your head, and get out of the fog, and go, okay, I still got like 30 years to go here.
Well, let's go golfing.
Let's go golfing. I mean, me and Chris, we went and played a few rounds before this all started, and we really enjoyed it. And our scores were close, so it was like, who won today type thing. So then when COVID hit, and I got the idea of doing, with my buddies, like, let's do a tour and let's see who wins, and let's have a trophy, and at the end of it, somebody gets to chase for the cup for the season, a la of FedEx Cup. We've got a jacket, right?
Yep.
For a major, and dude, so much fun. And I mean, it gets you playing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So for guys, I mean, I'll ask you this question after, but we don't do lessons.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, our guys are at the range an hour before our tee time.
Yeah. They're
hitting 2 large buckets of balls. They're on the chipping green for 15, 20 minutes, and they're on the putting green for a half an hour before we even go, because we want to beat each other.
That's awesome. That's what it's about.
So then you start seeing the progress, right? And it's like this year, me and Chris, we had a couple of goals, and I shot my first 9 holes under par.
That's awesome.
Not bad after 3 years.
That's great.
Granted, it's about pretty close to 300 rounds in there in 3 years, but yeah, that's the stuff that for us is just so much fun. It's just, I mean, we're it's winter now, not a lot of golf. You got to find other things like this to occupy your time, right? Yeah. So this is what we do.
That's awesome.
So now you have the Baseball Golfer Cup, correct? So now give us a rundown on how that works, because I saw some of your posts on that. And you got a fairly substantial amount of guys that are involved in that as well.
Yeah, that was something that came to me just early this year, probably in February. Again, sitting in my office, looking at the snow out the window, daydreaming about golf when I should be calling clients. You know how it goes. But I I was just sitting there one day and thought, man, wouldn't it be fun, just like what you said, to have a forum where me and all my buddies could compete against each other in a game of golf, and we video and document the whole thing. And at first it started as like, what if I do a little tournament and I do it in St. George or some cool destination and I invite 8 buddies? Like there's 8 of us that go down, two foursomes, see how it goes. And then I put out some feelers on social media for it just to see who would want to do it. I think I posted a story and I had over 100 responses saying, yeah, I'm in. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize I was asking for people to volunteer to join. I was more just trying to gauge interest in some of my friends that I had met through Instagram. And sure enough, I got over 100 responses of people saying I'm in. And so what it morphed into really was me saying, well, why don't we create a virtual golf league where anyone in the world, anywhere, anytime can play around, and we'll have net scores based off your handicap, accumulate FedEx Cup style points. And in order to make it kind of interesting, in order to be eligible, you have to have a handicap. You also have to commit to playing 10 rounds between April 15th and October 15th. If you play 10 rounds between that time, those are the 10 rounds that you'll count. But you had to let me know, the commissioner, if you will, of the league, that you were going to count one of your rounds towards your 10. If you didn't let me know ahead of time, it didn't count. And I was thinking, well, let's not let people cherry pick their best rounds, right? I know some of the guys are going to have a hard time hitting 10 rounds. Some of us are going to do 10 rounds in a month. And if we can circulate more rounds and get better scores, that's not necessarily a fair system, at least so I thought at the time. And so that's kind of what we set out to do. I charged everybody a fee to join the league, thinking if we can pull together some money, maybe I can buy some prizes and some swag for people and just make it kind of fun. So did that, ended up getting out of the 100, as you'd expect, about half of them bailed, about the other half, and then half of the remaining half said, well, yeah, how much is it? And then when I told them, I said, never mind. Right. So
yeah, for sure.
I charged like $125 a person. So it really wasn't bad. I think we ended up with 27 golfers. And of those 27, throughout the course of those 6 months, that April to October, 24 of the 27, I think, finished their 10 rounds. And just last week, we crowned a winner. So I was a little bit slow after the October 15th deadline, but we announced a winner last week. The winner got a new driver, got some other swag from Primo, I think they got some joggers and things like that. Second place got some Primo swag. And then we did a most improved player. So there was a guy that started the year at like a 23 handicap. He's down to a 12. And in 1 year of golf, he fell in love with it. He got obsessed like all of us do. And he made awesome improvements. And so we gave him a bunch of swag. And what was really cool about it is, in addition to the money they paid, I had so many people just willing to help out with it. It became way more work than I thought it would be. Inputting scores, putting them in a spreadsheet to calculate their net score to par and how many points I'd equal and keeping a total. We built a website for it. It just required a lot of work, but I had 4 or 5 guys just come out and say, let me help you with it. And it's grown to be great. We have a little YouTube to track it. I don't think it has many subscribers. It was just people in the league. But, what's cool is I have a running total of list of people that want to play next year, which is really cool. And that's up around 60 people for next year right now. And so it's just been the thing that's fun about it is you don't have to be in Utah to play. You can be. We had a guy in the UK in the league, and it's just awesome. He goes out and does what he does. He's going to play. He just shoots me an email, says, hey, I'm counting this round, and here's my score when I'm done. And
yeah, man, it's got to be a lot of administrative work in something like that. But
it has been. But I think going forward, the thing I'm excited about is a few guys in the league kind of offered some good feedback and ways we could improve it. And I've got pretty much a team that's going to run the administrative side of it next year. And I think it'll be just even better going forward.
That's awesome. But again, a league like that, like you say, you had a guy from the UK. It actually can be a global league, right?
Yeah. Yep. It absolutely can. That's kind of the hope. I'd love for it to get to a point where we could, what I would love is it becomes a league and a social club almost, where people are meeting people across the world and saying, hey, I have a bucket list to go play in Ireland. Is there anyone in the league in Ireland that can come join us and give me some tips to play? You know what I mean? Like, that's the cool part. Like, this year, we had a couple guys in Florida. We had a guy in New Jersey. And the guy in New Jersey's like, hey, man, I want to come to Utah. I've seen the Golf Digest ads for Sand Hollow and the cool Red Rock, and I want to go. And I'm like, yeah, man, let me know when you come. I'll meet you there. We'll go play, and I'll spend a few days, and just made good friends from it. It's just a cool community.
And yeah, we'll, like, through what we do, just the people that you meet. I mean, we have followers and people we chat with. Again, same thing, all over the world, which is kind of crazy to think about. People that check out your stuff fairly regularly from, countries like Germany, South Korea. We even speak the same language, but yet, we interact as best we can, right?
Yeah, and you have a similar interest in, and it's cool how
golf is a global game. Like, I grew up playing hockey, right? Hockey, you can say hockey is a global game, but not everybody around the world's playing hockey all the time like they are. Like, golf just seems to me personally that global game.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. I think it's got to be. I mean, you think about, in a lot of ways, I wish, at least in Utah, I wish they'd stop growing the game, because it's hard to get it to time. But you think about the phrase growing the game. I mean, what COVID did to the game of golf is, I feel like the whole social media golfer was not a thing before 2020. I mean,
I believe it.
I don't remember seeing, people like Melosi, right? Melosi is a friend of mine. He's in my league. We've played around together, and I just Melosi started a little after I did on his page, and think of all the cool things he's posted and people that know him, right? I mean, it's just, he's created, not just him, but this whole golf Instagram world has created an opportunity for you to find really cool people that you would already like to hang out with. And it's like this open community. I could message anybody and they're going to respond to me. And I'm not anything special. It's just the community of playing golf, and how cool that is. Like, if I know if I'm in, if I'm up in BC, I've got 3 or 4 guys I could DM on Instagram and be like, yeah, man, I'm playing this day. Come join the foursome. That's just so cool to me.
I agree, man, 100%. It's kind of funny because we played, I think it was last year, we did our first, we'll say, meetup with somebody from social, and it wasn't even a golf group. It was a sneaker group. A couple of guys from the Sneaker Show podcast. He was like, they're from around this area. It's like, we should go play around. So we went and played this little scramble best ball type of match, and it's a blast.
It's awesome,
right? And yeah, I got some bucket list courses too. I'd love to go play St. Andrews.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's me and Chris have put that on our bucket list. That in a few years it'll be in the cards that we're going to do something like that. Because I mean, the ability to go do something. I'd love to play Augusta.
No, that's
probably not going to happen.
Probably not.
Probably not going to happen. I played it on a simulator, but I'm probably not going to be down in Georgia anytime soon. But St. Andrews, yeah, you can go play that course.
Absolutely can.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, we've traveled a little bit around southern Alberta, southern Saskatchewan, southern BC, and played some courses for the last 3 years. And that in itself, personally, I like the smaller courses, the more hidden gem type courses.
Yep, I'm that same way. Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a bunch of them around the southern provinces here, the prairie provinces. We went and played Burstall, Saskatchewan. It's a little 9-hole course. Community looks after it. It has the pay box, so it's on the honor system.
awesome.
It's
That's
like,
so cool.
You got to call ahead, and they'll put one of the members' carts out for you to drive around the course. But you show up and it's $40 and you play all day.
That's so cool.
I mean, and it's like probably just around an hour away from us here. It's like, yeah. And then we found a bunch. Rolling Hills is another little 9-hole course that I love to go play. But that's for us, like getting into it that way. Oh
Yeah.
man, stellar. Just finding all these places. But next year is going to be a little different. We're moving courses next year, so we're going. The course we've played for the last 3 years has been a par 66, shorter course, only one par 5. So next year we're moving to a par 72. We've played it probably a dozen times in the last couple of years. Last year it was a little bit of an intimidating course for me.
Yeah.
Again, just trying to navigate your way around a course, and don't
Absolutely.
always have the shots that you need.
Yeah.
Right. Because again, we're new golfers.
Well, how that goes, it doesn't matter if you're new or not. We all experience finding our shot.
Again, this past season we've had some really good accomplishments. Chris broke 70 down at the par 66, so he shot a 69 a couple times. When we play really good, we can put up some really good scores. Yeah. So now the next evolution, I think, is just to move on to a bigger course, more yardage. But like you were saying about tee times, when we mentioned to some of our people and a couple of guys who actually have memberships there goes, yeah, it's tough to get tee times there, guys.
Yeah.
Whereas at the little par 66 that we've played at, we pretty much had the run of the course for the last 3 years. We could go anytime, jump on the front, jump on the back. I mean, I played 101 rounds last year.
Wow.
And again, it's just you can have a tee time or you can just go down. For us,
yeah.
Right? And we play 36 in a day, and just do loops.
Yeah,
do 18, go get a bite to eat, go back, do 18. So much fun. So next year is going to be a little different. The tour is going to be a little different next year. Probably not as schedulized, not as many dates, because myself and Chris, we have some other things we're going to do next year. I joined the Alberta Golf Tour.
That's awesome.
So again, just something else to try. I want experiences.
Yeah.
And now that it's, I have the time
to
do these things, I really, really want to do them. And, the tour doesn't really come south of Calgary. And we're in this little place called Medicine Hat. It's called the Forgotten Corner because it's in the southeast of Alberta, and nothing really comes down here.
Yeah.
So we have to go to it.
Yeah.
That's something when we see the schedule, we're going to at least try to commit to a couple of dates and go and play some tournament golf and get that experience, right?
That's awesome.
We'll still do our Mulligans and Hackers thing. That's always going to be there because, again, somebody has to get the jacket. Somebody has to put the jacket on the other guy. So that'll be there in some aspect, but there's going to be more experiences next year. I'm just hoping we can do a little more video logging of what we're doing, because we did this series this year called Going for the Green.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of shorts on our YouTube channel.
Videos. I love that.
Yeah, so number 6 at our little par 66 there was a really short par 4 dog leg right. It's like literally 220 to carry it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's the green is hidden behind a big row of trees, so you really have to get up. So that, and just content, right? Content for the social medias, and I think I hit that green 6 times this year. So I mean, again, you see the progress in your game, right? It's like last year I couldn't hit that green if my life depended.
Right.
Not even. It wasn't even like I would hit a 3-wood up the fairway because there was no chance I could clear the trees, right? So
that's cool. The progress makes it all fun.
Yeah, and I hate when the season comes to an end. I'm not going to lie to you. Like
it's like starting over.
Yeah, it's like I have at least in my house, in the living room upstairs, I can swing up to my like 7-iron without taking chunks out of the ceiling. Yep. So I try and get at least 20 swings in a day.
Yeah.
And just to swing the club, but you're really not working at anything. But
you don't square it up. You don't know how you.
No. I tried some of those plastic wiffle balls.
Yeah.
But I had to go buy my wife a new picture frame on one of her pictures. So
No more with the ball.
We put that to bed for a little bit here. We can figure something else out. But so yeah, man, that's cool. So we talked about the baseball golf or the baseball cup. So let's talk a little bit about your golf game.
Yeah.
Do you ever take lessons?
I have taken only 4 lessons in my life. And they've been all in the last 12 months.
Nice.
So yeah, buddy of mine that I played baseball with, actually, he was a pitcher. He was a senior when I was a sophomore. Good dude. Didn't play golf in high school, to my understanding. He may have played a little bit in high school, but ended up playing at a small college in Virginia, golf. Loved golf. Didn't know he even played golf. And he played at a small college. He transferred here to Utah at a bigger school and played. And he's a pro now. And man, he's remarkable. He's such a good golfer. And I hadn't played golf with him until 3 or 4 months ago, probably. But I knew that he was a pro. And so I messaged him and said, hey, man, I'd love to just come get some pointers from you. And we hit the simulator and he kind of showed me a few things. And I went and worked on them while it was winter. And then played a little bit in the spring and didn't quite feel right. Noticed I was going back into my habits and messaged him again. We went back and did it again. And what's ended up happening is, I would say, like my handicap at the end of 2022 was a 1.9. It's currently a 2.7, so it's gone up. But I think that the 1.9 handicap was very much kind of warped, if I'm being honest. I think it was showing more favorable than it was because I was playing a course here in Utah called Thanksgiving Point. It's a difficult course. It's long, high slope, high rating. And but it suits my game because I'm a long ball hitter. So I played Thanksgiving Point quite well. So my net scores to par looked really good. So my handicap was kind of heavily favored a little bit. And this year I really branched out in where I played. I played like 14 or 15 brand new courses this year that I haven't ever played. And just that alone in my game kind of brought my handicap up a little bit. But I really do feel like I'm twice as good a golfer right now as I was a year ago. And that's exciting. And I really do contribute a lot of it to the lessons I've gotten, only in the sense that now I know why I mishit a shot when before I didn't know why I was mishitting a shot. So in the middle of a round, I feel like I'm able to adjust and get back on track. Where before it was like 2 or 3 bad rounds, go hit the range, try to figure it out, hit the range again, finally it clicks, go back, try to get used to it. Take me 5 rounds.
I was going to ask you, so how, like during the golf season, how much work do you put in, like on the range before you play, after you play?
Good question. It really depends, but I have a busy career, full-time career. I'm a financial advisor. I'm working a lot, trying to be, being young and being a financial advisor requires a lot of hours if I want to be successful. And on top of that, I'm volunteering in my local church and doing things. And then I have 2 little girls under 2. And so it's busy, and so my typical week, honestly, is I'm working 45 to 50 hours a week. And at my lunch break, I'm going to go hit a bucket of balls 2 times a week. And luckily, a good way to get new business as a financial advisor is to take people golfing. And so I get to play my golf in a business setting almost exclusively. I think I played 40 rounds this year, and I would guess 33 or 34 of the 40 were in a business setting. So a lot of people are like, man, do all you do is golf for work? It's like, no, I play about once a week for work. But that's really about all the playing I do, which to me feels like a lot. But when you're in this golf world on Instagram, right, I don't play near as much as a lot of people do. And so my practice, my routine is I putt at home a lot on just a little rollout putting mat, work on my stroke. I have a putting coach. He's amazing, and he's helped me a few times as well. So I'm working on my putting stroke. I feel like that's the best part of my game, or at least second best part. My drives are probably the best part. But I feel like, really it comes down to, because I don't have a ton of time to just go practice whenever I want, my practice sessions are very deliberate and they're very intentional on working on something. And one thing that's really helped me to do that is just having a plan for the week, kind of like, what do I want to conquer? For example, I'm really struggling with that 40 to 90 yard shot. It's a feel shot. It's a difficult shot. Making consistent contact. It doesn't matter if you're a low handicap or a high handicap. That's just a hard shot in golf, in my opinion. And a lot of it's dependent upon your lie and pin location and what flight you need to have. So I would guess more than half of my range time this year was spent working on the 50 to 90 yard shot. I rarely hit my driver except when I'm playing. I don't hit it on the range, mainly because if it's not broke, I don't try to fix it. I just have a rhythm. I hit 9 out of 10 fairways when I'm playing, and I can hit the shape I want usually, and it's going to go anywhere from 290 to 320, and I'm good with that. I don't need to practice that. I don't need to work on that. Long irons are probably the next thing I practice the most. I would say it's like my wedges and then my 4 and 5 and 6 iron. 7, 8, 9 and pitching wedge. I love hitting those clubs and feel really good with them. So I guess what it comes down, like if I had a 1 hour range session, I would break it down by 35 minutes on that 40 to 90 yard shot. I would do 15 minutes on my long irons, and I do 10 minutes on putting. And that's my range session. And I do that probably twice a week. And when I go play, I don't hit the range before and I don't hit the range after. I show up, I grab my driver on the first tee box, I take 4 or 5 practice swings and I hit. And then I just go. That's kind of my rhythm.
It kind of makes me mad that you're like a single digit handicap and that's the work you put in. Come on, man.
Well, it's funny because I have a friend who he practices quite a bit more than I do. He's a good golfer. He's probably an 8 or a 9 handicap, and on any given day he can beat me. We kind of go back and forth, but he's just a little more unpredictable in his miss, right? And he was telling me he kind of gets mad too. He's like, man, you don't even practice and you're just so accurate off the tee. And I'm like, I really do believe that if amateur golfers could learn to hit a driver further than 270 yards and straight, their handicap would drop by 5 to 10 strokes overnight.
Well, see, and I can always, like my fairways, I can always hit fairways. I'm not the longest driver off the tee. I did gain I gained about 30 yards on my driver, but I'm still only around probably 260, 270. I've gotten it out there 290 a couple of times, not regularly, but I can hit the fairway.
Yeah.
I do find that when I get to that, if I can get, and I usually play the game to get myself to a 100-yard shot, so knowing my yardage off the tee.
Yeah.
I'll hit a 7 iron off the tee if it gets me to 100 yards out. Doesn't matter if I can go for it or not. I want to get to the 100-yard marker because then my greens and reg will be really good for that round. If I get inside of that 100-yard marker, I am 25% greens and reg.
Just so you know,
it's scary.
I'm like I said, I'm a 2.7 handicap right now, and I think I'm at about 50% greens and regulation inside 100 yards. And a lot of people be like, then you're not a 2.7 handicap. That's always their response. You're not and I'm like, okay, you can think that, but if you come play, where I am really good is I don't make 2 bad shots in a row, right? Like if I'm at 70 yards and I chunk my approach, the next one's chipped in to 3 or 4 feet and I'm making the putt. It's not a bit, so like I'm able to play well despite my flops, I should say. But a lot of the thing, a controversial opinion. I put this on my story the other day on Instagram, and I was shocked the response. I said, if you are greater than a 15 handicap, what is the better way to lower your handicap? Increasing distance or improving short game? What would you guess the answer was?
Well, I would say improving short game.
I think everyone did. I'm the only guy that put getting distance. I really do believe if you're above a 15 handicap, most people I've played with that are above a 15 cannot hit the ball greater than 270 yards. And if they could hit the ball greater than 270 yards, that means they're hitting a pitching wedge on shot 2 instead of a 6-iron or 7-iron. That's a lot of a difference. The dispersion of miss into a green with a 6-iron versus a pitching wedge is only half a degree of club open or close, but 20-yard difference. That's why people miss greens. So it's like, to me, I feel like the reason I can score well despite only being able to practice a couple days a week
is because you're long.
Is because I'm long, and not only am I long, I'm predictable on where it's going to go. I either have a slight miss right or a slight miss left. I don't duck hook or hit a slice. I'm going to be in play and off the fairway a couple yards if I'm off. But I'm more than 290 9 out of 10 times.
So for a guy like me that's in that 14, 15 type handicap, I find now, so, you know, playing as many rounds as I have in the last few years, for me, it's when you make that bad shot, say it's off the tee or it's the second shot, your approach shot, the recovery shot.
Yeah.
You just don't have it.
Yeah.
It's just not there. If you're, I'm pretty good out of the sand now. But like if you have obstacles, you got to go over a bunker, or say you're off the tee and you're in a tree line. I know those are hard shots anyways, but you're looking at double bogey minimum.
Yeah.
If you're out of shape off the tee, you know, those second shots from out of position really add up the scores for a guy like me. Like I can play, you know, I've had you know, spurts this year where I've gone 5 pars in a row, and then there's a triple bogey because you weren't in shape off the tee and you're adding those 3 strokes, right?
Yeah.
And I noticed that again, more and more golf you play.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
If I'm going to miss, I'm missing the other way.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here because if I miss and I'm there, and and the course we play at, there's a lot of par 3s, and we're right-handed golfers, and there's no bailout right on the par 3s.
Yeah.
So you're aiming left.
Yeah.
Because it's left side of the green all the time. Because if you go right, well, you're taking a drop or you're 3 off the tee, right? Then you start seeing your game and your score inflate. And we've done it for the last 3 years, and it just, I mean, you know, you're through 9 holes, you're 1 over, and then you get to number 9, it's a par 3, and there's no bailout right, and you're 3 off the tee. You hit it and hit the green, and then 3 putt.
Yeah.
And you're walking off going, I'm just going to go home now.
Like, why do I love this game?
Yeah, I think I've had enough.
And
then you'll make the turn, do it, and then on number 18, which is a par 3 as well, you'll hit the green, tap in for par, and you'll go, yeah, okay, I'll be back again, maybe today.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, like I said, I've seen lots of improvement since COVID. But the one, I guess, frustration I could say about my golf game is this constant taste of par, right? It's like, I know on any given day, I can go out and I can shoot 1 to 3 over, and I can do it at a hard course, but I have not yet shot par or better. And I thought for sure I'd do it this year, and I thought I'd do it several times this year, and I haven't. But it's so frustrating because, like I said, I still feel like I'm a better golfer in a big way from where I was last year, and I'm still chasing something, and I feel like I've put in a lot of work. Now, it may not be hours and hours at the range or with a coach and lessons, but I am deliberate about my practice. I've made major swing changes over the last 18 months. I went from having a baseball grip, like 10 fingers, holding it like a bat. I now interlock, and that took me like 4 months to get used to. So it's like, when I take into account all these different tweaks that I've made, and I still haven't tasted par. It's like this game's so frustrating.
Yeah.
You know, a month